There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Ooh, what's up and welcome into episode number 74 of the Program Guys podcast. My name is Mason Prince, joined with you as always by Ryan Tyson, Mark Hall, Matt Gann on the way. Today is Friday, June 9th, and the Oklahoma Sooners are national champions for the third time in a row. Natties for Patty. They are built different.
I knew that
Continue
was
53 games in a row. They are national champions in Oklahoma City once again, dogpiling it out, beat Florida State, swept them 2-0. Be sure to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z, Instagram Program Guys with a Z, our Facebook page, Program Guys Podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts, that's you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of that good stuff. Gentlemen, we are national champions. We're recording. The game ended 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
We're hopping on, and boys, we're champs again. It was amazing.
Again,
we're
champs.
Like, why haven't we built the statue yet? Can someone explain to me why Patty does not have a statue? Because this is unbelievable stuff.
I mean, she's going to 100%. That's
national
7
championships in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
7
6
total.
in the last 10, 7 total for softball.
3 in a row.
Match football. And guys, they
broke the record for the most successful single season in
ever.
Yeah.
softball ever.
Almost
and
was one point or one run away from a perfect season.
Yeah, third season in a row they've scored 500 runs in a season. They're the only team in Division I history to ever do that. They didn't get a run rule out of Florida State, but we're group text. We had our group text during this last game, and Florida State went up 1-0 with that solo shot home run. And I texted you guys and said, doesn't matter, because if you don't score 2 runs, then like you didn't really deserve to win the game anyway. And they went out there and they scored 4 or 3. They scored 3.
Right. But right after you said that, they hit 2 homers in a row
back to back
to get to 2.
Back to
back.
And I mean, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, the top of the order did not play well.
No, they didn't.
Game.
They really didn't. It was
in either of those games, and that just shows how deep that bench is and how good that team is. Like,
very big.
One of the greatest teams. Like we said that last year, and it might not be as flashy. It might not be as flashy of a team without Allo out there to like really give the flash.
Yeah.
But consistency, it's the most consistent team that they've had the past 3 years, and you can tell that by the record.
Jordy Ball comes in the 5th inning, shuts her down. She's the most valuable player of the Women's College World Series. She was 4-0. She pinch ran, scored the run to make it
Twice.
A 2-run game. She's literally amazing. Jada Coleman's robbed home run was massive. Mark, I feel like I'm stealing everybody's thunder here. What'd you see? What was your reaction to the game in general?
No, that play was incredible. I think that Brent Venables said it best. Her ball skills is better than Billy's, and
amazing.
We all think very highly of Billy. So that's quite the compliment / shot out of coach there. The thing that struck me all throughout the game is, even with her early struggles, Alex Storako really brought it.
Really did.
And that's why you come to a team like Oklahoma, because she's clearly someone who can bring it at the highest level, but was at a place that wasn't able to bring the heat around her. Drop her into this Oklahoma lineup, and she gave us 4 or 5 strong, solid innings.
Mm-hmm.
Even getting in trouble, sure, but getting out of trouble just as well.
Oh, 100%.
Able to hand it off to Jordy Ball at the end. That's why you come to Oklahoma. That's why you come and show that you fit in at a dynasty like this, to go get yourself a ring in your final season at OU.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining the podcast now, Matt Gann. Matt Gann, let's circle the wagons. Let me know what'd you see out of the game, man. National champs. Your softball. You've been keeping us updated all year, and they're natty champs, brother.
3 straight. First time in 2+ decades since the UCLA Bruins did it with their three-peat. Now, if you compare the two kind of dominant runs, the scoring, the way that softball is being played now is just vastly different. But to be one of the only teams that do 3 national titles in a row, there's a reason why it's only been done a handful of times. And they've absolutely shattered some records. I'm sure if you guys haven't spoken about it, they set 2 single records, 53-game win streak, and a season winning percentage of .98.
We didn't say that. Yeah. That's crazy.
Right. I didn't get the percentage. Yeah, you're right.
But 2 historic stats that probably will never be broken unless it's done by another Oklahoma team. The grit, the fight that they had in both of the series when they both had some up and downs, especially with the top of the batting order, 1 through 6. We're talking about Tiara Jennings, Jada Coleman. I mean, these players that have been hitting bombs all year. That wasn't the way OU won this game. But that's the great thing about OU is we have great pitching, great defense, and we can win a number of different ways, especially when other batters are maybe not as hot. So it's great to see a lot of these players, especially some of the transfers that came in, especially with Alex Sirocco coming in from Michigan, dealing a game. It's just incredible to see that Patty Gasso, or as we should call it, Natty Gasso at this point with 7 titles, tying, I think, second all time for the most titles behind the Arizona coach. Just an incredible feat. Probably one of the most dominant female sporting teams of a decade. It's incredible to watch. Sporting, thank you.
Sporting.
We have to be very grateful that we have lived to see this, especially being all Oklahoma fans, especially me and Tyson and you, Mason, being in Oklahoma and watching this dominance. It's incredible to see.
From Oklahoma. So I want to mention this because Matt brought up a great point, and I really need to call myself out for this. So we're counting down, we're texting, 6 outs away, 5 outs, 4 outs, all this stuff. We get down and the last play happens and she's out and strikes are out and we're celebrating. And to me, it wasn't a whole lot of celebrating because this is what they were expected to do, right? Like, we expected this team to be here. We expected this team to win again. But in the post-game interviews, Jordy Ball and Patty Gasso gave fantastic interviews. And if you have a chance, go back and watch them.
They're really good.
The pressure that this team faced on a day-in, day-out basis, to have the expectations high, imagine that. Imagine those expectations being, if you don't win a national championship, the hardest thing to do in sports, if you don't win that, you are a failure. Like, that's a lot of pressure. And I don't think when it wrapped up that I appreciated how hard that this was for them to do as much. And that's a credit to them, man. 53 straight. Everyone is gunning for you. You get everyone's best game. That Florida State team, to Mark's point, they had players on the bases the entire game. And shout out to the pitching staff of the defense. They didn't let them score. That's a complete team effort. But Florida State was the second best team in the nation. They deserved to be there. And they gave OU hell. They really did. But the best team won. And it's impressive to see.
Yeah, I mean, just like thinking about it, I remember texting you guys and being like, oh, we made an error. Yeah. And it's like one error because this team does not make errors.
No.
Like, does not make simple mistakes. And you're like, oh man, like, what are they doing? Like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? We're falling apart, all this kind of stuff. And maybe that's just in my brain because that's the way my brain works. But it's like the expectation of them is so high. And I mean, I'm sure like they felt it every single game. I'm sure Patty actually hated that 50-game winning streak that was going on because she was probably just like, this is too much for these individuals, these athletes to deal with. But they dealt with it. And like, that's the thing. They like stayed together and they talk about their team all the time and how strong they are together. And that like, this is important to them, but it's not everything to them. And like, that's really, I think the whole team dynamic that they have is really, really special. And I think that comes down to Patty Gasso.
Mark?
Yeah, she loves her players hard and she coaches them hard. The standard is, I mean, if you haven't listened to it yet, go back and listen to when Mason and I were able to speak with Aaron Miller about the program and the team. It was last season, so it's maybe a little dated now. Yeah. But some of just the conversation we had about Patty Gasso right? Specifically, the kind of program that she's built, the standard that she holds those players to, and also at the same time, every one of them knows that she has their back.
Yeah.
It's hard to maintain both of those things. To be such a hard ass that every single player is going to become their best version of themselves, and also be the kind of figure that they know they can come to with any kind of problem. She's built something very special here because she's a very special and unique kind of coach. And the best of the best are attracted to that. It doesn't matter what the sport is. It doesn't matter what the environment is. And we're like, I don't know which of us said it. Maybe it was you, Matt, talking about you lucky Oklahoma boys. But we really are blessed to have that program be planted in Norman, Oklahoma, because it doesn't have to happen here. We're very lucky to be able to enjoy this every single season that it continues to go on.
I want to get you guys. Go ahead. Did I interrupt somebody?
No, the last thing I was going to say, just to I think kind of to Mark's point, is like this team, they talked about it during the championship, like some of the commentators and stuff were like, you have to be the best to play for this team. You have to be the best to play for Patty. They said, they have a whole dugout full of athletes in there, and a lot of them don't start and a lot of them don't hit, and they are good enough to go anywhere in the country and probably start. And they don't, because they want to be there and they want to play for that coach and they want to play for that team. And it's just incredible stuff and what she's created.
So I don't have the tweet in front of me, but folks, if you think that these girls are done after this year and it's another reload season, pretty much that entire lineup's back next year. Jordy Ball's back. Straka's gone. Because
Lyons is gone.
Jennings will be back. She's only a sophomore. Jennings,
Coleman,
sophomore.
Coleman's a junior.
Yeah. I mean, they're all essentially back. And I mean, they're going to continue this. They have a chance to make this win streak even longer coming up next year when we roll around in February. They're really crazy. I want to know what you guys think, because there was a lot of talk on social media and about on the broadcast about how this team celebrates. I mean, how they celebrate everything. Mm-hmm. They celebrate walks. They celebrate plays in the field. They celebrate singles, bunts, all of that stuff. And some people don't like it. A lot of people don't like it. I kind of want to get you guys' thought, because we're in it. It's our team. So everything that they do in our mind is going to be right. But I kind of want to get anybody else's thoughts on that, because I love it. I'm a passionate guy, and sports is supposed to be passionate. So if you're not passionate about sports, then what's the point?
Yeah, real fast. That's an old take. And it's one of those things where if you're the best team and you're doing it, I don't care what the sport is, someone's got to beat you. Mm-hmm. Someone's got to beat you. And honestly, what are you mad about? They're celebrating someone getting on base.
Yeah.
How about you be more joyful for your teammates, like the 3-time national championship winning Oklahoma Sooners are, and you might find more success. Like maybe if you're just more invested in your teammates' success, you'll do better. I think it's a very old way of thinking, and if it was like if we were the 4th best team in the country doing it, that'd be a story, right? Yeah. You're not the best. This team is the best there's ever been. That's every number's behind it.
Yeah. There's a old quote from Parks and Recreation that comes to mind, the Parks and Rec show on NBC, and it's Ron Swanson, and he's sitting in his office, and Leslie Knope comes up to him. She goes, "You know what, Ron, you don't really have the attitude of an award winner." And he says to her, he goes, "Everything that I do is the attitude of an award winner, because I'm an award winner." So what OU does, they can do because they are champions. But yeah, and that's another thing. You have to celebrate like this to get motivated, because you are so good. You have beaten teams to a pulp all year long. You need to celebrate the little things, because winning becomes mundane at some point. You have to celebrate the little battles inside a game to stay motivated and win. Matt, jump in.
My biggest thing, haters be your motivators. And this is what the OU team has
Jesus.
done all year long.
What are we, like
They have
8th
been
grade?
unapologetically themselves this entire time. They're not going to let any outside noise tear this team apart. I think what Mark said, Patty Gasso instilling the confidence and the foundation that their team has the ability to win in and out every single year blocks out all that noise. They're going to continue to be themselves and who they are. I absolutely love it. I can obviously see why someone on outside looking in, Florida State fans, whoever OU faces, are probably not going to like it. Who cares at the end of the day? Until someone beats them, keep doing them. And they will continue to do that no matter what until someone takes them off the top pedestal.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to say. I mean, the thing is, you have to beat them. Like, you have to beat the best. The best is going to act that way, and the best can act that way until someone beats them. And it hasn't happened. So,
Oklahoma Sooners, 3-time national championships, back to back to back. 7 overall. Patty Gasso, 6 in the last 10 years. Comment down below. What was your favorite part of the game? What was your favorite moment of the game, moment of the championship series, of the Women's College World Series, all that stuff? We love reading every single one of your comments. We appreciate it more than you know. Be sure to subscribe while you're watching as well. A lot of you guys who are watching right now are not subscribed. Maybe you're new to the channel. Maybe you popped up. Maybe the algorithm popped us up, and this is your first time watching the show. Subscribe. We do this every week. Love to have you join the program as well. Boys, anything else on softball before we move on to a little recruiting talk?
build the statue. That's all.
Do it.
Yeah,
They're already building the stadium. Yeah,
Yep.
they're already building the stadium. Go ahead, Mark.
I know I've spoken on this before. I have a 14-year-old niece who is just a real big softball player. She loves softball.
Wow.
And by extension, even more than through the connection to me, she loves Oklahoma now. The next generation is watching this, and that's so cool to see. And I have like a sort of front view, view of it with her, but man, it's cool to see. We're building an army.
It's amazing. It's so awesome. It was like, you remember back in the day, Tennessee women's basketball was, and
Yes,
I hate to compare it. I hate to compare it to like women to women, but like they were it. Like they were it. And seeing this team, that's what they're like right now. Like they are bigger than the sport. You think college softball and you think Oklahoma, like period. And that's the way it was for Tennessee basketball back then. I feel like that's the way it is for Alabama football. You can make the case for Georgia now, I guess, in some cases, but it's not.
But it's the extended run too, right? That's the thing. That's Gino Auriemma at UConn.
Yes,
these runs do last longer on the women's side of sports. There's I don't know why. There's probably some reason that smarter people than me have figured out, but they do, and this is right up there with it. It's along with the best of all time in any sport, any gender, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Anybody else?
We just need to get Patty 2 more so she can break the other record that the Arizona coach has of 8 titles. So if she give her 2 more,
if she stays with it, like there's no telling what she can do, because in the era of the transfers, a lot of those transfers played a big role in this team, man. And the best are going to want to come to OU, and they're going to have their pick of the litter. And she's going to recruit at a high level. She's going to get transfers at a high level. She's going to develop at a high level. It's not going to stop. It's just not.
Like you talk about Alex Storako this last game, but Sydney Sanders, who hit the first home run, she's a transfer from Arizona State.
Exactly.
So like it was a game that was helped and aided to victory by transfers.
Yeah. So. Let us know down below in the comments what you thought of the national championship, and where were you watching? I'm in Cayuga, New York, where I watched the national championship. Cayuga, New York, in the Finger Lakes. Yeah, I know.
From the Office episode with Jim Carrey.
Okay, shout out to
you. Don't want to get lost in the Finger Lakes.
Thank you for remembering that, because I was on the phone with a loyal program guy, Connor Borland, earlier today. Made that joke to him, and it was right over his head. Had no idea what I was talking about.
I wouldn't have gotten it. So.
Yeah, but we knew that. It's not cinema.
Cinema.
Yeah. Oh man, that's good.
Gosh.
Okay,
that's a disappointment.
All right, some OU football recruiting news. We know Brent Venables was watching the game. We saw his tweet about it. We know Danny Stutzman and Billy Bowman were watching the game. But as for the future Sooners, some recruiting news. They're in the quiet period, so there's no practices going on for the football team. It's just recruiting news for the people. Some portal commitments. DeJohn Terry. He commits from Tennessee. Big commit. 6'4", 320 defensive lineman. 2 years at Kansas before transferring to Tennessee. Now transferring to Oklahoma. Last year at Tennessee, 9 starts, 16 tackles, 2 sacks. Depends on how you look at it. 1 or 2 years of eligibility.
Nope, we just don't know. Let's not.
Okay.
I love.
We're not sure.
Depends
How you
on
look
how
at
you
it.
look
We
at
can't
it.
lie.
I'm not lying. I'm reading what we wrote. I trusted whoever put that in there.
Well, yeah, the whole thing is for the readers. We did our research, but our research gave us 2 different answers. So
Two
if
sources.
you know, we've actually had some commenters help us out on this.
Yeah.
If you know for sure, tell us. Let us know because we're not sure.
Yeah. Anyone on DeJohn Terry? I love his size.
He's
Can't
huge.
be bad. It cannot be bad to have depth on the defensive line. Literally can't be. I don't know if he'll start, but he'll definitely get some burn.
Yeah.
Just looking at this resume, I think that he will start 6'4", 320. We've looked to add some size. We haven't had a Dexter Lawrence type in the middle in any of our times at OU, right?
No.
And since then, and while DeJohn Terry is not that large, he can provide some of that big, fast size inside. And he's a very interesting transfer to me because he did have those 9 starts at Tennessee last year.
Yeah.
It's not like this is a guy who was hurting for playing time. I think he might have been hurting for coaching. And that's a very interesting, looking at him, 2 years at Kansas, spends 1 season at Tennessee, but then wants to get out quick. Tennessee had a very good season last year, a better year than Oklahoma did. And he wants to come here and play for Todd Bates and Brent Venables. Says something to me.
Yeah.
So
Matt Gann?
I'm very excited for this one. Matt Gann.
Yeah, good rotation and depth. We just keep adding to the defensive line. We've already done that quite a bit early on in the transfer portal, so it's good to see. I think the first thing that BV has to establish is stopping the run. We gave up way too many big runs, just getting gashed up and down the middle. So having another guy like this, just a big body to plug up some of those holes, definitely good rotation and depth because as BV knows, he's going to rotate quite a few guys on that line. So good to see he gets another big body in there.
Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, like Todd Bates putting in the work right now. Just putting in the work. We're about to talk about another, but it's.
I want to give an update from Patrick's Tennessee sources that he put in here. Patrick is not here; he's on vacation currently, but he
just real fast. Patrick is engaged to someone from Tennessee, like that went to Tennessee, so. He claims he has real sources.
Yeah, this is more of a shtick. I guess. Thank you for clarifying.
Well, it's just you say Pat's Tennessee sources, and if I'm just like a listener, I'm like, who? I've listened to Patrick. What sources are these?
Yeah, no, it's.
Sorry, go ahead, man.
It's Patrick's sources, air quotes. He's saying that he sat out spring practice to take extra classes to finish his degree because his mother was very sick and wanted to see him graduate. He's from Mississippi and wanted to transfer closer to home, but apparently listened to NIL offers when he got in the portal. Maybe not an all SEC guy, but a good rotation depth defensive lineman. All right, those are Patrick's sources. So there's that. Another defensive lineman, to Ryan's point, Todd Bates putting in work. We got a 6'4", 305-pound defensive lineman, Philip Paya.
That's how I've been saying it in my head.
Awesome.
Paya.
He commits from Utah State, formerly of the Michigan Wolverines. 247 has him as the 38th best defensive tackle prospect when he came out and signed with Michigan. So, another big guy to clog up the middle.
6'4", 305.
Yeah,
these are some big dudes. And
again, this should show you that they're not complacent right now. They are not comfortable with what they have
No.
in that defensive line room. The fact that they keep adding these guys, even though they added guys in the portal over the winter, and they're still adding more, and they recruited more guys. That should go to show you that that room still has a long way to go, and they're trying to catch up. And I think a lot of the defensive side of the ball is starting to catch up with Brent's vision. I think the defensive line is the spot that obviously is going to need some more work.
This one feels more to me like a depth play than John Terry does.
Okay.
I think that the size that Terry brings is, I mean, it's 15 pounds, but 15 pounds is a lot of weight. And while Paya obviously had some pedigree coming out of Michigan that he needed to transfer to Utah State to feel comfortable getting his legs up under him, we'll see. We'll see, right? It's very possible that he ends up starting next to him, but I don't know anything about him in particular, but I'd be surprised to see him come in and unseat like an Isaiah Coe for that spot.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Love the depth. That's all.
Yep. All right. Some crystal ball news. 2024 offensive tackle Grant Bricks, 4-star, 6'6", 270. I'm just going to rattle off these guys, and then if you guys have anything to add, then we can add. I'll just rattle off all the guys. So Grant Bricks, offensive tackle, 4-star, 6'6", 270. Then we have 2024 wide receiver Ivan Carrion, 6'6", 195 from Odessa. 2025 wide receiver Adrian Wilson, 4-star, 6'2", 176 from Weiss High School in Pflugerville. Jaden Nickens, 4-star for the 2025 class, 6'3", 190 from Millwood in Oklahoma City. And then Elijah Thomas, 4-star wide receiver in the 2025 class, 6 foot 170 from Shakota, Oklahoma. Go Wildcats. That's some news on that. Anything to add?
I mean, the Grant Bricks. The thing that I love about it is, get some corn-fed boys in there,
Yeah, corn-fed.
Like Iowa. Yeah, we love that. Like, let's pull some people from there. 6'6", 270. I think there's a lot of room on that frame, probably. Yeah, let's see what we can do there. I'm excited about that one. Some of the others, I mean, just Emmett Jones getting ready for, I think 2024, one of these picks, Ivan, was a flip from Texas Tech, which makes sense. He hasn't officially committed yet, but when Jones was there, that was the main connection. So I'm not really surprised by that. All the others, 2025, he's thinking future, like where are we going from here and how are we setting up success in the future? So I know it's maybe not like an instant, like, yes, this is going to be amazing for us in the next like 6 months, but I do think future wise, Emmett Jones is setting us up really well in the wide receiver room.
Matt Gay?
Let this man cook. Let him cook, baby. I talked about this either last week or the week before when we were talking about which coaches or players need to prove themselves or whatever it might be for this upcoming season. And I pointed out Emmett Jones because a lot of the other assistant coaches, and I want to choose some from the coaching staff, who really just needed to kind of have the rite of passage because a lot of these guys are proven already. And we know Emmett Jones can do it on the recruiting trail. The Ivan guy was at OU's facilities. I think a couple of those guys were this past week practicing with some of the OU coaches. So 6'6", that is what we're looking for. That type of height OU has not had in quite a few number of years. So that would be a pretty massive flip from Texas Tech to us. But again, we knew Emmett Jones having the Texas Tech connections. He's obviously making a blaze on the trail of recruiting, but once he gets the guys in there, I'm really looking to see this season, can he develop the guys that are already in the room, because we know he can recruit.
Yep.
That's a really, really great point, Matt, because I see the Ivan Carry-On flip prediction, and it makes sense for all the reasons that you guys have hit on. The Emmett Jones connection is obviously strong, and it seems like from the Brent Venables football camp tape that we've seen come through. And by the way, everyone posting that stuff, you guys are great because it's fun to be able to just catch these guys making plays, right? It probably means nothing in the end, but it's fun to see these guys. He looked good in those videos. Carry on did. To Matt's point, though, I want to see a little bit of development out of our other big-bodied receivers, right? Obviously, Jaden Gibson was a freshman last year. Nick Anderson was a freshman last year. Maybe those guys just don't get reps for that reason, but I would love to see some of these big-bodied dudes come in this season under the tutelage of a guy like Emmett Jones and show us something, right? You don't have to be a fully finished product, but just by being 6'5", you dictate coverage in a way that someone who is 5'11" doesn't. And if you can be a viable option that builds so much for the offense, Ivan Carry On could be another guy in that mold for us moving forward if he does end up flipping that commitment. And then the 2025 guy is great. Great. I like that they're all local dudes. Pflugerville, OKC, Shakota. I don't know how to say it because I'm not an Oklahoma guy, Matt.
It's where Carrie Underwood's from, bro.
Yep.
That's awesome. And I hope Jesus takes the wheel on that recruitment and steers him home to Norman, Oklahoma. That's all I got.
Exactly. And then if he ends up committing and visiting somewhere else, maybe next time he'll think before he cheats, you know.
Can you just keep going?
Bang!
Who's next?
I won't.
What you got?
He doesn't know.
I'm not as witty as you guys.
Let us know down below in the comments what one of those crystal balls you're most excited about. If you which guy you're most excited to add to this team if they were to sign and commit, all that good stuff. Some other OU football news, just real quick. Rocky Kalmus, Josh Heupel, Dewey Selman on the 2024 College Football Hall of Fame ballot. That awards dinner will be December 10th, 2024 in Las Vegas. Don't really know when they announce who made it, but yeah, they're on the ballot.
I need to ask, maybe you guys know this better than I do. My relative entry to college football is later than you guys, Matt. And like those guys have all been out of the game for a while. Mm-hmm. What's the likelihood that someone who has been, their time in college football is so far past them that they make the Hall of Fame at this point in time?
Yeah, I don't know. I think of those guys, Rocky has the best case with the postseason accolades that he has. Josh was like a one season wonder kind of guy. Rocky was kind of sustainable. He played well for multiple seasons.
Yeah, Josh has the championship, and Josh has I know it's not about like coaching, right? But his name is more like in the lights right now.
You're right
with Tennessee
for sure.
So, I wonder if he would hit the ballot again later if his coaching career just goes off and like
maybe
an all-in-one kind of deal in addition, or like rather than just as a player. Because truthfully, guys, when I came to OU, no one was telling me about Josh Heupel's highlights, right? It was.
But he's like he literally was our quarterback when we last won a national championship.
I hear you. I'm not
like that's nuts that we
you.
Like. I think that's like a great thing though, Mark, to like bring up is like we don't talk about that because that year we won because of our defense. Like we didn't win because of our offense. So it's still like he has the national championship out of all the quarterbacks that we have had since. He has the national championship.
Yep.
Hey, real fast before we move off football. So those football camps have been going on all this week and last week, whatever. And quarterback Kevin Sperry, the 2025 commit, has been at like every single day of every single camp and seems like he's going to continue to be doing that. That's encouraging to see, man. That's the kind of commitment you want to see from these guys. That's awesome. He's getting coached by Jeff Lebby every weekend this summer. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I thought the
Caleb Williams level commitment.
The small bit that
I know.
The small bit that I have seen of both him and Hawkins from those, they both looked good.
Yeah.
So like I was impressed with both of them.
As good as you can look with passes on air. You know, I thought they looked good.
So it's early, but
it's early. It's camp season.
Yeah.
They have the big like competitive camps, like 7-on-7 camps and stuff later this summer that all the rivals people go to and 247 and all those people go to. So I guess we'll hear what happens
We have some
at those.
huge weekends coming up, though. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not that podcast. That's not our thing.
Yeah.
But be on the lookout for the next few weeks, because there is going to be news coming out about trips to Norman, about weekends that go well. It's going to be electric, baby.
Yeah.
Remember this time last year we were freaking out and
I
then
know.
it exploded.
Panicking.
It was nuts.
It's
Well, there was some small panic this week with some of the Clemson stuff that went on, but
Yeah.
Hey.
just but I think most of us are in a much better place right now
Right.
than we were last June. So
Okay,
those
can't-
Rileys, I hate them.
Can't
Okay.
kill my vibe right now. Matt Gann, do you have anything to circle the wagons?
Other
No.
than baseball falling into super regionals, they lost the first game to East Carolina, came back the next day and beat Army, I think 10-1, and had to beat ECU, I believe, twice to make it through and was not able to. So talking about a season where they pretty much lost 4 or 5 pitchers, pretty much their whole starting lineup, and to get back to this point of getting close to the World Series again, I think is a pretty phenomenal feat for a baseball team that's been pretty gutted with a lot of draft picks and a lot of people leaving. So watch out for this team in the future. Skip Johnson is no joke to deal with. He's got that coaching staff humming with all the players transfers that are coming in. So good season, I think, for the national runners up last year, but their season comes up just a little short this year. But
All right,
that's it.
some national news. The little fun game. I guess we can do this real quick. Shannon Sharpe leaving Undisputed, and he's taking his money and running.
Can't work
There's
with Skip.
Fox is going to buy him out. Can't work with Skip anymore. So after the NBA Finals, he's done. So let's play a game. Who replaces Shannon Sharpe to deal with Skip Bayless every day? I know I have my pick, and I'll start. I think the guy that you have to pick. I'm not a big fan of these shows. I'll put that out there right now. But I understand that they're value to society in the sports world. So I think Nick Wright is a extremely intelligent individual. I think he's a guy who debates very well, and I think he's fluent in a lot of sports. Specifically in the NBA
noted
and
James
NFL.
Harden supporter.
Yes. He's a big time LeBron guy as well. And as we know, Skip does not like LeBron, and that's what sells, unfortunately. So I think Nick Wright would be a good guy to replace him. He's already at Fox. You wouldn't have to go buy somebody else out and bring them in. You're already paying Nick Wright. Just slide him in there.
That is, you took this so seriously, and I love you for it, Mason. So
Oh,
I
okay.
suggested this
Okay.
idea.
Okay.
I suggested
It's like-
this idea, and I was thinking, okay, Shannon Sharpe is great because he'll be combative with Skip, right? And
Yeah.
obviously, it hit a breaking point that it just isn't tenable anymore. Well, I'm thinking, here's someone you're always at the breaking point, and you just cannot actually break. I'm picking Matthew Gann. I think that Skip Bayless would have finally met his match, because the thing about Matt is you get into it and then at some point you're speechless because you realize you've been had the entire time. He doesn't believe what he's saying
Entire thing's a
at
bit.
all. He probably believes what you're saying, but he does not mind playing that game the entire way through. And I think that would give us better television with Skip Bayless than we've had from him in a decade and a half.
Amazing.
Give me Matt Gann on Undisputed.
Incredible.
Matt's like, it's funny. That was my pick too.
It was my
The-
favorite.
No buyout with
I
Matt
was gonna
either.
pick
He's
myself.
here, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy me out from the pod, baby. Sign me on. Hey, we both love the Oklahoma Sooners. He's a big Thunder guy. He roots for a lot of Oklahoma teams. So
It's real
we
tough.
probably,
Of course, Matt's a
He
Skip
also
Bayless
loves
guy.
the Spurs for some reason.
Yeah, well, I'll go ahead and give my pick. The only guy that came to my mind, and maybe he's not fluent in other sports, but the guy that I think could really hang in with Skip and be competitive, similar to what Shannon was able to give, I think it's JJ Redick is the first guy that comes to mind. Just the way he handles himself with Stephen A. Smith. He calls out everyone's BS. I mean, he's just very insightful and truthful and will stand up for what he believes in. And he's really funny. I'm not sure if you guys saw the other
is
day.
funny.
I guess Perk was like breathing loud in his ear and he called him out on national television. I just think he'd be an absolute hoot dealing with Skip Bayless on a daily basis. Again, I'm not sure how much he knows about other sports other than the NBA and basketball. That's why he fits so well with those guys. But I think he'd be an absolute great combination with Skip.
Ryan?
Yeah, I have one that like is not gonna happen, but I think would be hilarious, and then I have one that like I think is gonna happen. So the one that I don't like
said
will
Matt
not
Gay,
happen, but what'd you say?
I said Matt Gann, so I think we can go in any direction here.
I think a show with Skip Bayless and Colin Cowherd would be just atrociously bad and just so much fun to watch. So that would be.
They were both ESPN guys. I'm sure they had those two on a set together at some
At
point.
some
right?
point.
It would be, but right now,
Colin was probably on
2023.
Yeah.
It would be insufferable television that I would
Be
tune
awful.
into. So that
awful.
is the one that I'm like, it's not going to happen, obviously, but like it would be fun. I think LaShawn McCoy will probably happen, because
That
of
one
the
is
Fox,
happening, yeah.
the Fox connection, and I just see that as a bigger name than I think the others are like Nick Wright and who Emmanuel Acho
Matt
is
Gann.
also kind of up there, but I think
Can we talk
LaShawn
about the
McCoy-
Emmanuel Acho thing? Because he's garbage.
Yeah, and that's also why I think he will be joining. I think it's gonna be LaShawn
fake
McCoy.
Wholesome bad.
I think the name draws something also, and Skip wants eyeballs. So,
dude, Emmanuel Acho has jumped on like the Dolphins into a bandwagon, and Dolphins fans eat it up. And
Worst.
no,
You don't want
dude,
that.
he's bad. He's so bad. Oh, but I do want to mention something funny. Have you guys seen the videos of like the complete 180 Colin Cowherd's done on Trey Lance from when he was dating Cowherd's daughter to now that they've broken up? It's hysterical. Trey Lance went from being San Francisco's savior to he needs to be cut tomorrow because he's
Amazing.
he's
like
not
this is
any
what I'm
good.
talking about though. Like this is what I want on the
It's amazing.
Skip and Colin show
It's
of just like
hysterical.
these ridiculous ass takes that like make no sense but are just like hilarious.
No, dude.
Do y'all recall? So I thought about this when I first saw the LaShawn McCoy reports, right? And this just made me think of it again. In 2015, LaShawn McCoy tried to throw a female only's party in Philadelphia.
I do
that
remember
he was
that.
like hosting, like him and I guess I'm sure it wasn't just him and his boys, right?
Yeah.
What a turnaround for the homie. To be able be in the running to host a show, right?
Wow.
I mean, it's Fox, but it's not like that's not a turnaround. What a thing for LaShawn.
Dude.
Shady made it.
Dude. I'm curious what
I think
Shannon's
it's gonna be him.
I'm curious what Shannon's next step is. I mean, someone's gonna pay him, but I'm just curious who.
Truly, hey, if you're listening and you have a connect with Shannon Sharpe, let us know.
Yeah.
We would love to get Shannon Sharpe for the exclusive on what went down.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And if Shannon needs a spot, I'm willing to sacrifice my spot on the pod and let him come in and just.
I can't imagine any one of us would enjoy get Shannon included. Enjoy.
Respectfully, you guys couldn't get a word in edgewise. There's just no way. He wouldn't let you speak. There's no way. There's no way. Okay. All right. Let's talk a little NBA finals real quick. Denver Nuggets up 2-1. We can go real quick on this. Nikola Jokic is a freak. If you're not able to stop him from getting a triple-double, you're just not going to beat him if you're the Heat. Jimmy Butler has Havana syndrome in the fourth quarter, and it's literally hysterical. I saw a tweet the other day when people were murdering Jason Tatum for his fourth quarter performances over the final like 2 games. He had like 12 fourth quarter points in the final 2 games. Jimmy Butler has like 11 points in the last 3 games in the fourth quarter. Like he has disappeared off the face of the earth, and he gets no flack at all because he's Jimmy Butler and he's Michael Jordan's son and all of this stuff. So I think it's hilarious. I picked the Nuggets to win, and I think they will win, but I think it just goes to show the Heat got hot, and here they are. That's what happens.
I knew
Just
this
real
would turn
fast.
into like anti-heat.
Yeah, let's
sorry.
just real fast. Just
Go
real
ahead.
fast. I sent this in our group tweet message, but I want to let the listeners in on it too. Whenever you're hearing Mason break down a thing, take a little stopwatch and time how long it takes until we get to Tua or the Boston Celtics.
There you go.
Because we're gonna
That's fair.
land there, baby.
That's
We're
fair.
y'all remember when Emmanuel Ocho was jumping on the Dolphins bandwagon? Because
Dude.
he got there so fast.
Yeah, he still is.
The finals are great. I think the Heat are a lot of fun, but and there's something to be said for this is 2 finals in 4 years,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
2 finals appearances in 4 years. They were 1 shot away from not making it one of the years in between. That's really impressive stuff. They also just don't have everything that the Nuggets have, right? Jokic is one thing. If it was just Jokic, maybe they could play games. Jamal Murray throws up a triple-double too.
Yeah.
Right. Michael Porter Jr. doesn't even show up to these games, and it doesn't really matter because the Nuggets are that much better. I think that, like you said, the Heat got hot. They went on a run when they needed to, and we're seeing it sort of fizzle out like it probably ought to at the right time. I can't wait to be wrong and they win the series.
Dude, Michael Porter Jr. doesn't even show up, and when he does show up, he doesn't pass. It's hysterical. I've never seen anything like it. It's amazing. Matt Gann, anything to add?
First time in NBA history finals that 2 players in the same game have a 30-point triple-double. So that just shows you
Wow.
how good Jamal Murray and Joker are. They are truly a duo not to be messed with. They are incredible to watch. I mean, Joker looks like he's out there just having practice. I mean, he's just so casual. The way he just, I mean, again, he prepares. He's so good at what he does. But yeah, I think the Nuggets will end up going on to win the series.
Loves his horses. Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, you guys have said anything. I still think Denver's going to win. I think they're the better team. They have the better players. But I just want to give a shout out to Eric Spoelstra, who is, I think, an incredible coach.
Mhm.
Just very, 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 very good, and has been very good for a long time. So got his team back when no one thought they would. We're in the play-in game. That's exciting stuff. That's what we want to see out of the NBA playoffs. I'm sorry, Mason, but that's exciting. So yeah, I think that it's gonna be the Nuggets.
Yep. Nuggets. Let us know down below in the comments who your pick is. Game number 4 coming up tonight in Miami. So, all right, PGP MVP of the week time. Let us know down below in the comments while you're following along with us. Who's your MVP of the week? Matt Gann, start with you, brother.
I appreciate you letting me go first. I feel like mine is just very, very obvious. It has to be Jordy Ball. The past week, she has been probably the most outstanding pitcher I have ever witnessed. And OU's had a lot of great pitchers. But she went, just in the World Series alone, went 4-0, pitched over 24 innings, 0 earned runs, and 33 strikeouts.
Nuts.
And on top of that, she herself scored 2 runs while pitch running. So she ended up scoring more runs than she even gave up. She had an incredible. I know we talked about this while we were texting. It felt like every time Jordy Ball was in the circle, we had no concern whatsoever.
None.
Even though people were on the bases, we knew Jordy was going to get out of a jam. She has just been an absolute spectacle to watch, having an All-American freshman year, having an All-American this year, especially starting off slow. And even if we go back to Super Regionals and Regionals, she's 7-0 with, I think, below a 0.3 ERA and 48 strikeouts. So it's not just been the World Series. It's been all through the regionals and super regionals, all the way to the 3rd straight title. It has to be Jordy Ball. It's probably one of the best week performances, week plus, that a single player can give over multiple games. Jordy Ball.
Ryan.
Best sophomore athlete of all time.
I don't know.
Definitely.
Any sport.
Yeah. Because I don't know one that comes to
was,
mind.
When was Adrian Peterson's sophomore year? Was that the big one that he had? Was that his sophomore year or was that his junior year?
I think it was his junior. I think his junior year was the big one. No,
Freshman
it was the
year
junior.
Crazy.
No, wasn't the junior year the year he got hurt? He broke his collarbone, diving in the end zone.
I think it was the sophomore year.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
But
I don't
anyway,
know. I'd still answer Jordy Ball. I still answer Jordy Ball.
Caleb Williams, maybe.
All right, Ryan, who's your MVP?
Okay, comparison I've been making.
Yeah. Okay, so Matt Gann went the way I thought he was going to go, and we've talked a lot about Jordy and talked a lot about Patty and talked about a lot about just the extensive talent that is in the OU softball, dugout. I want to give a huge shout out to Jen Rocha, who is the pitching coach for the OU softball team. Just an incredible ability to work with this pitching staff. Now, we know that Jordy has a ton of talent and is able, and the athleticism is insane, but the ability to work with her pitching coach to be able to understand every single one of these batters and play off each other and how they swing, how they look at balls, all of that, and where it needs to go, and being able to throw different kinds of balls all at different times is incredibly impressive. And them having a plan to basically say, yes, you're going to pitch all of the first game, and then you're going to come in for relief in the second game, even though all these batters have seen you already, but we're going to have a completely different plan. And I was listening to the commentators through the end of that, and Jordy was throwing completely differently than she was the first night. And like, that is designed, that is strategic, and that is working with a coach on that. That is not just talent, and that's preparation. And so just got to give a shout out to Coach Rocha on that.
Love it. Great. Mark?
Okay, so I kind of have two. Do you want to take the other one, or do you have your...
I'm going off of the one that you have written down.
Beautiful. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're going as if I'm saying that one.
Sure.
Or is it
it doesn't matter. I'm going to say mine.
It doesn't matter. I've got two, and I'm going to say them both. All
Okay.
right. First one, LVP, PGA Golf. Let me introduce you guys to the homie Yasir Al-Rumayyan. He is the chairman of the new PGA Live Golf entity. He is also the governor of the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Board. He is Public Investment Fund, PIF. If you see PIF, it's their Public Investment Fund. That's the Saudis. He's the chairman of oil company Saudi Aramco. He's the chairman of EPL's Newcastle United. He is way up there with the Saudis. All that this PGA deal essentially did was give Saudi Arabia tendrils into the golf world writ large, and that's an LVP move out of the PGA, out of months, I guess about a year of grandstanding about your values and morality and about how your league stands for something higher and better and different. You sell out to the highest bidder. That's an LVP move. My second LVP, on a much more fun, lighter note, Zion Williamson.
Whew.
My
This
guy.
was so fun.
Oh, man.
My guy. I am
Brother.
not going to explain everything about the case, but please Google Zion Williamson pregnant if you would like to, and you will find out what I'm talking about.
Read the tweets.
Dog,
They're hilarious. They're so
you need
funny.
different people around you, and you definitely need a different person in charge of your weight loss plan. This is an insane story, and no one, well, I mean, he got paid, right? He got paid, but Zion Williamson could have had a historic bag, and dude is fumbling it in bad ways, man.
The guy,
so there's my two PGA golf, Zion Williamson.
The guy is in love with
mediocrity.
The guy's in love with mediocre Instagram models. I just don't understand. I don't get it, man.
Who blast like all of his personal shit
Bro,
on Twitter.
yes.
And it's so
while
funny.
he's sleeping. She's like posted
so
pictures of while he's
funny.
sleeping and roasting his ass. It's
These
just
are not
like
just Instagram models, guys.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to be PG. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know. Okay, my PGP
Zion.
my PGP MVP of the week, going off of what Mark mentioned about the Live Golf PGA rumored merger. Not official yet, but there's a lot of rumors that it's not even going to get to happen because board of
My MVP, the Supreme
regulatory.
Court.
Yeah, no joke. But my MVP of the week is Rory McIlroy, a guy who blindly defended PGA and the commissioner of the PGA Tour, Jay Monahan, blindly defended him for months and saying that live is bad, live is bad, live is bad. What we're doing is better, to Mark's point about the moral high ground and all that stuff. And Rory genuinely believed that. He was out there defending them, turned down money from Live, as did Tiger Woods, turned down money because golf needed the PGA Tour to shine as a light beacon for the rest of the golf world. And Rory genuinely believed that. And then Jay Monahan pulled the rug out from under him, made him look like a complete putz. But Rory faced the music the other day, was in front of the media, and just sat there and took his lumps and said, I'd do it all over again. I don't think LIV is good. I think the PIF is something different, but I don't agree with LIV, and I think LIV should go away. And it's probably gonna. If this merger goes through, LIV's gonna die and it won't exist anymore. But Rory McIlroy, to not go up there and just roast Jay Monahan and be the better person in front of this media, knowing he lost out on hundreds and millions of dollars, and the mental toll this took on Rory to be up there week after week and get questions from the media about LIV and his leadership inside the PGA Tour and all this stuff. And for Rory to not even be, no one to know that this thing was even happening besides 3 guys in a freaking room is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So Rory McIlroy, my MVP.
Mason, did you just real quick, Mark, did you see the report of the interaction between McIlroy and Grayson Murray, who's an American golfer? It's so funny.
That's really good.
So for the listeners, if you didn't see it, apparently there was a Grayson Murray, who's an American golfer, got very upset at Jay Monahan, he's
not very good. He's like top 300, but he's not top.
Yeah, he's like
top
200 something. And he goes like, "We don't trust you, Jay. You lied to our faces." And Rory just tells him to just play better. He just goes, "Just play better."
Yeah.
And
so good.
Yeah.
Murray responds with F off. Just like in the middle of this players meeting.
Things are going great.
Down, and things are going wonderful on the PGA Tour right now.
Things are going great. Mark,
a piece of the business side of it is that Rory McIlroy is an independent contractor.
Mm-hmm.
All of these dudes that signed on with LIV, they're employees of LIV Golf. Rory is just an independent dude who happens to play on the PGA Tour. None of these dudes, the NBA has a players association, the NFL has a players association. All of these other sports have this, and none of the golfers have any bargaining power within how the PGA is run. And that's why they're all getting railroaded in this. Hopefully what we see come out of this is a world where these guys have some more ownership over the product that they're putting out, because I promise you, I'm not signing on to watch Augusta on Sunday because Jay Monahan set up this event. I'm watching it for the guys that are playing.
No.
And hopefully we can see something good come out of this.
Matt, anything to add before we get out?
Boomer.
Love it. All right. So that's going to do it for this week's episode. Episode number 74 is a wrap. Be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can follow us on Twitter, Program Guys with a Z, our Instagram, Program Guys with a Z, our Facebook page, Program Guys Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. That's where you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all of that good stuff. The Oklahoma Sooners, national champions, 3rd time in a row, 7 overall. Patty Gasso, you're the GOAT. Jordy Ball, you're the GOAT. That's going to do it. Matt Gann, take us out.
Keep pushing it.